Good morning and welcome to our English lesson today. And in our English lesson today, we are going to talk about punctuation. And when you talk about punctuation, it involves the use of punctuation marks and use of capital letters. A properly punctuated work, especially in your composition, earns you marks. Or when you are doing your English work, or when you are writing your notes, let's say your notes in science, your notes your notes in social studies, when you correctly punctuate your work, it appeals to the eye in that if you want to revise or to go through your notes, then it gives you an easy time. So in our English lesson today, we are going to talk about punctuation. And in punctuation, I'm going involves punctuation marks and use of capital letters. So I've started by highlighting the punctuation marks. I'm going to talk about punctuation marks. Maybe if I don't finish, then I'll come up next time and then continue with the lesson. But I'm going to highlight punctuation marks and how we can use them in a sentence. So our punctuation mark number 1 is a full stop. A commonly used punctuation mark. Everybody knows what a full stop is. So how do we use a full stop? A full stop is used to mark the end of a complete sentence. So if I say a full stop is used to mark the end of a complete sentence, look at my example. I was cooking, for example. I'm saying I was cooking when she woke up. I was cooking when she woke up. I was cooking when she woke up. So that is the end of my sentence. At the end of a complete sentence, you always use what? You always use a full stop. It doesn't matter if you want to add another sentence or that is the end of a sentence. So we say I was cooking when she woke up, and then after woke up, I have put there a full stop. What does that mean? I'm marking the end of my sentence. I'm marking the end of my complete sentence. Like that's where my sentence is going to end. I was cooking when she woke up. So you can use a full stop. It's used to mark the end of a complete sentence. I've given an example. She was cooking when I arrived at home. She was cooking when I arrived at home. Full stop. This is one complete sentence. It is a complete sentence. This is a complete sentence. So at the end of every complete sentence, you're supposed to have a full stop. And it is happening because most learners when they write sentences or when they write sentences, especially in their English, in their classwork, or when they are writing their, let's say, science notes or social notes, at the end of the sentence, most people do not have a full stop. Like it is a sentence and it is hanging. So we don't know if it is the end of the sentence or it's not the end of the sentence. How are we going to know if your sentence has come to an end? If the sentence has a full stop. If your sentence does not have a full stop, then we don't know if you are still continuing. If you are going to continue the sentence to the sentence, or you've come to the end. When you are writing, make sure at the end of your sentence you have a full stop. So example, I was cooking when she woke up, or you can say she was cooking when I arrived at home. I have a full stop. I'm marking the end of my sentence. So if somebody is reading my work, they are in a position to know that is the end of my sentence. And then if anything I add on it, then it is going to be a continuation of that sentence, and then a continuation after a full stop should begin with a capital letter. Used in abbreviations. Now, what are abbreviations? Abbreviations are short forms of words, or those words we use instead of writing what? Instead of writing a complete word, then you just come up with either the first letter of the word or the first letter of the two words. Each first letter of the two words. Example, let's say my name is Hadija Hussein. If my name is Hadija Hussein, my name is Hadija Hussein. So instead of writing Hadija Hussein, I'm simply saying my name is what? My name is KH. So if you have KH, it's simply Hadija Hussein. But you remember that you can't use abbreviations when it comes to composition writing, Why? Because if you use abbreviations in your composition writing, then you're not going to come up with the correct word, with the correct length of the composition. Actually, it is a plus for the learner that you should not use abbreviations in composition. Why? Because when you use abbreviations in your composition, then you won't be in a position to come up with the correct length of the word, the correct length of the sentence. Now, example. We can have PO box. We can have PO box, which is an abbreviation. After the P, I have a full stop and then an O. We can have His Excellence. You see this when they are introducing the president, like HE, which means His Excellence. And this one in full should be what? Should be post office. And HE in full should be what? His Excellence, the president. His Excellence the President. So after H you have a full stop. After P you have a full stop. Like we can have Kenyatta National Hospital. You have KNH, which is the short form of what? Kenyatta. We have Kenyatta National Hospital. So if you have short forms of abbreviations of words, then you're supposed to use a full stop. But we also have short forms of words. Instead of writing the full word, you simply come up with some letters. You pick out some letters in that word. So if you are also used in abbreviations, e.g. PO, post office, HE, His Excellence, and then you can use a full stop when you are shortening what? When you want to shorten words. For example, this is the word doctor. Let's say doctor, let's say Dr. Wafula. So instead of writing Dr. Wafula, I'm simply having DR and then I have a full stop, and then I say Wafula. So I'm simply having Dr. Wafula, and this is the short form, not the abbreviation. The short form. When you shorten a word, it simply means you pick some letters from the word and come up with what? And write them as the representation of the word. When you abbreviate, you simply pick two letters from if there are two words, you simply pick the first two letters. And then you have doctor and then full stop. This is the short form of the word doctor. And then I have another word. Maybe I want to write January. And instead of writing the whole of January like that, I simply write Jan, and then you have a full stop. This is the short form of the word January. After the short form of a word, you simply put there a full stop. Instead of writing September, let me write September. Instead of coming up with September, and then I write the short form of September as sept, then you have a full stop. If you want to use short forms of words, just make sure at the end of the short form of the word, you have a full stop. And I've given out examples of short forms of this word. September can be sept, full stop. January can be Jan, full stop. Doctor can be simply DR, and then that means doctor. It's simply the short form. It's simply what? It is simply the short form of the word. So you can use a full stop in three major ways. Number one, use to mark the end of a complete sentence. So at the end of a complete sentence, you have what? At the end of a complete sentence, you have a full stop. A full stop is also used in abbreviations. And most of you have come across abbreviations. AGPO, post office, you can have His Excellence. Instead of that, you can have KNH, which means Kenyatta National Hospital. You can have KQ, which means Kenya Airways, used in abbreviations. Number three is used when a word has been shortened. E.g., instead of writing January, you can simply write Jan. Instead of writing September, you can simply write sept. Instead of writing doctor in full, you can simply write DR. For example, you have Dr. Wafula, which is simply DR Wafula. So those are the uses of a full stop. Just remember, if it marks the end of a sentence, after a full stop, you begin the sentence with the capital letter. Now, our next punctuation mark is use of the full stop. Now, When do we use a full stop? We use a full stop when we are asking a direct question, when we are asking a direct question. And when I say a direct question, it means indirect speech. For example, I can say, use a full stop at the end of a direct question. Example, I can say, are you, for example, are you going to the market? Are you going to the market? Are you going to the market? And then that's a direct question. What does that mean? I need an answer. So I say, are you going to the market? Are you going to the market? And then I have a question mark, a question mark. That is a direct question. Or you can also use a question mark at the end of what? A question tag, at the end of a question tag. Now, it doesn't matter if the question tag is positive or if the question tag is negative. If the question tag is negative, you know a positive statement and you know a negative statement when it comes to question tags. A positive statement takes a negative question tag, and a negative statement takes a positive question tag. For example, I can say, Amina, in a question tag, I'm going to say, Amina is a good girl. Amina is a good girl. Amina is a good girl. And then my question tag is going to be, isn't she? My question tag is going to be, isn't she? After the question tag, you have a question mark, a question mark. So that is a use of a question mark. You can use a question mark at the end of a direct question. Are you going to the market? That is a direct question. You can say yes or no. I am going, or you are not going. You are not going. I can ask you, is she sick? That means it is a direct question. At the end of the direct question, you have what? You have a question mark, a question mark. Or I can say, did you do the English homework? Direct question, which means either you did the work or you didn't do the work. You either didn't do the work. You can also use a question mark at the end of what? Question tags. And we've talked about question tags. We have positive statements and we also have negative statements. At the end of a negative statement, you have a positive question tag. At the end of a negative question tag, you have a positive question tag. Now, Amina is a good girl. My question tag is, isn't she? Amina is a good girl. My question tag is what? Isn't she? And then I have, maybe my statement should be negative. I'm going to say, Amina is not a good girl. Amina is not a good girl. My question tag is going to be, is she? Why? Because is not, when not appears in a sentence, that sentence is what? When not appears in a sentence, that sentence is negative. So it should take a positive question tag. Amina is not a good girl. You say, is she? And then I can say, Amina is a good girl. And then I can say, isn't she? At the end of a question tag, you use a question mark. Or when you're asking a direct question, just make sure you use a question mark, Now, when you're asking a direct question and you have a question mark, just remember, when you want to write something else after the question mark, it begins with the capital letter. Just like a full stop. After the question mark, just make sure whatever follows begins with a capital letter. Most learners, when, for example, Amina is a good girl, isn't she? For example, you have that, maybe say, are you going to the market? Are you going to the market? Then whatever follows should begin with a capital letter. Whatever follows should begin with what? Should begin with a capital letter. After a question mark in a sentence, or after an exclamation mark, or after a full stop, just make sure that whatever follows begins with a capital letter. Use of a full stop and then use of a question mark, A question mark can be used at the end of a direct question, or you can use a question mark when you are talking about question tags. So our punctuation mark number 3 is an exclamation mark, When do you use an exclamation mark? An exclamation mark is used at the end of a sentence to show emotions like joy, anger, or sorrow. You can show sadness. So strong emotions. Example, look at my sentence, an exclamation mark. For example, I can say, what a day. For example, I can say, what a day. What a day that was. What is that? What am I showing in my sentence? Either it was a good day or either it wasn't a good day. Either it was a good day or it wasn't a good day. I use either or in my sentence. Maybe that day was good or it wasn't a good day. It wasn't what? A good day. You can also come up with this. For example, let's say you are shocked. Let's say you are shocked. You can say, who can do that? Who can do such an act? Who can do such an act? It means whatever you are talking about or whatever that person did is so heinous that you can't imagine or you can't fathom why somebody should go to an extent to do something like that. You can say, what a big house. What a big house is an exclamation mark. You are also shocked. You are also what? Shocked. But you can say, stand up and get out of my class. For example, I can also say, stand up, and get out of my class. Stand up and get out of my class. Stand up and get out of my class. That shows what? That shows anchor. So at the end of that sentence, I have what? I have an exclamation mark. So an exclamation mark. That means if you are writing a sentence, if you are writing what? A sentence, and then your sentence is showing strong emotions of joy, anger, or sorrow, or sadness, or you are shocked, then you are going to use what? Then you are going to use an exclamation mark. Exclamation marks can also be used with what? Can also be used with interjections. And what are interjections? Interjections are parts of speech. Interjections can show sorrow. Interjections can also show joy. Interjections can also show anger. For example, if you've been hurt, you can say, ouch, that hurt. You can say, ouch, that hurt. So at the end of an exclamation, an interjection, you use what? Use an exclamation mark. For example, you come up, you go and win a football match. You say, hurrah! We won the match. So hurrah is an exclamation mark. You can say, oh my God. So that means what? You are shocked. You see something good, you say, wow, that was marvelous. Wow is also an interjection. Why? You can say bravo. It's saying somebody, saying congratulations to somebody, you say bravo, you did as good. So at the end of bravo, which is an interjection, wow, which is an interjection, ouch, which is an interjection, hurrah, which is an interjection, oh my God, which is an interjection, you have an exclamation mark. That's an exclamation mark. If this word does not have an exclamation mark, then it is not an interjection. If it doesn't have an exclamation mark, then it isn't an interjection. So you can use exclamation marks at the end of a sentence to show strong emotions, joy. If you are angry, you can show sorrow, you can show sadness, you can show that you are shocked, you can show happiness. So you can say, wow, that's good, which means you are shocked or you are very happy. You can say bravo if you are happy that somebody did something, that's something good. At the end of that sentence, you're having what? An interjection. At the end of an interjection, an exclamation mark is also used with interjections. And just remember, after an exclamation mark, you begin whatever follows begins with a capital letter. Whatever follows begins with a capital letter. So at the end of a full stop, you have a question mark and then an exclamation mark. If you are continuing with your sentence, just make sure it begins with a capital letter. So I'll post some exercise. Make sure you attempt. Have a good day.